Happy New Year. Bonne année.
What is this team's New Year's resolution?
Oh, I wish I could play along with you, Tony, but I don't think it works like that.
I tried. I wanted to ask you about the final minute of last game.
Yep.
When Clean Costin goes on and the crowd goes crazy for number 21, what does that signify?
The only ovation I saw louder was for the Baltimore Ravens mascot yesterday when he returned from his injury. I don't know if anyone saw that. No, but I thought it was good. Obviously, he's endearing himself to his teammates, his coaching staff, and our fan base. I think our fan base, I've said this before, is the most passionate, best fan base in the NHL, but they also they recognize things, and I see Clean as someone taking advantage of an opportunity. He's someone that is playing with second and third effort, and I think that's something that's appreciated by our fan base, and I think is a, I think it's a characteristic of our community.
My New Year's resolutions were eat more, drink more, and work out less. So.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
Same resolution last 20. So you can score enough. We know that. What do you take out of the 3 games last week and the fact that you're showing signs of shaving the goals against them?
Yeah, I think that's been a focus of ours. Part of it is just returning to full health. We're still not there just yet, but we're working our way towards full health. I think when you're coming to full health, it gets more and more competitive to be in our lineup. And people lay it on the line in a different fashion when the threat of not playing is real. So I think I've been pleased by that. I look at what we gave up chance-wise last game. It was very little. It's unfortunate that we didn't come out with 2 points, but sometimes that's the way it works in hockey. But upon review of the game, there's a lot of positive on the defensive side.
So you talked about getting healthy. We saw how, Leon's a hard-nosed, tough guy.
Yeah.
Last year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
What was it, you saw him out on the ice today? Just your thoughts on him being back with his peers and his teammates and about his potential availability tomorrow.
Yeah, he had a good skate on the game day. And then yesterday he came in, him and I skated together yesterday, and he obviously had a good practice today. I haven't followed up with him or our medical department, but I thought it was a good sign that he was on the ice. And obviously everyone with his play in the playoffs last year, working through some of the pain he had to endure, he's a warrior. So if he can be out there, I'm sure he'll be out there if he can.
Just the two of you yesterday?
Just the two of us, yep.
How'd that go for you?
My wind isn't where I want it to be, Tony, so I might have to have a resolution.
I couldn't help but notice Tyson Barrie all but begging you to blow that drill down before he had to race McDavid there.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, we did a little foot race drill, and I was going to give him a head start, but it is New Year's resolution time. We gotta make him earn it.
Is there something to be said for just pitting guys against each other in a little fun competition? They're going to compete.
Yeah, I think, even just for younger coaches out there, it's been my experience that when you're doing something conditioning-wise or something like that, that if you can make it a game, I think most people that are in this game, whether they're in the media, whether they're in coaching, whether they're in management or whether they're playing, most people involved in hockey are competitive by nature. So when you can tie in a little conditioning with a competition, I think it brings out the best in people.
You made mention of the fan base here in Edmonton, and you have the great facilities, the great fans, the great environment. How do you get a record to sort of reflect all the advantages that you have?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about internally as well as externally. And I mentioned it after the game, is that for us heading into the new year, we want to reward our fan base with more points at home. Now, if I look at the way we played that game last game, I thought, especially given the circumstances, I thought we gave ourselves every chance to win. You can't win every game at home, but if you're playing the game the right way, usually the results take care of themselves. We're looking for, a better record on home ice, and that starts tomorrow night.
Is there a hotel mindset where you're on a business trip and you're just single-minded? Does that have anything to do with it?
You know, I think it's too simplistic to just say that. I think everybody in our dressing room is a professional athlete. In terms of the information that they're given, the way they're treated, it's incumbent upon everybody in that room, including the coaching room, to make sure that they're ready come game time. And whether that's on home ice, whether it's on the road, or whether you're playing on Hudson Bay. It doesn't matter. We're all professionals here, and we got to make sure that we have a mindset to collect points here as we navigate our way through. We talked about this stretch post-Christmas to All-Star break. I think it's a real critical juncture for this group and this team. But I know that you can't win all the games in one day. You just have to keep getting better each day, and that would be the mindset that our staff is promoting, which is, hey, we got to continue to get better each day and find ways to gather points.
Jay, how do you decide whether to play Niemelainen or Broberg, since they're both young defensemen, left shot defensemen? Is it just on a game-to-game basis, or is it based on which team you're playing against?
Well, I think in training camp, Broberg started on the team for roster cap reasons. He ended up going down to Bakersfield. Niemelainen came up, coming off the good training camp that he had. If you go back to New York City, we felt we needed to stir the drink a little bit on the back end, and we flipped those two. Broberg came up, Niemelainen went down. And then Broberg ended up getting hurt right before the Nashville-Dallas before Christmas, where he had a little bit of an injury. So there really hasn't been a moment where it's been picking one or the other. I think our decision heading into the last game was that Broberg was healthy. And we got in at 3 a.m. We wanted to put some fresh bodies in. So we put Broberg into that game. I thought he played very well. I thought he had a really good practice today. I think as you see us navigate our way forward here, there's going to be a competition to get into the lineup on the back end, and I wouldn't limit it to just those two guys.
And Dylan Holloway, how do you gauge how much he's playing in a game? I mean, he plays 12 minutes some games, he plays 8. Is that based on the other team only going with 3 lines as opposed to 4, or do you see something in his game where you cut him back?
Yeah, I think when we go into a game, I never go in with a mindset of I have to get this guy a certain amount of minutes per se. I know that sometimes things even out. Connor's going to be around the 20-minute mark most games. I understand that. I think different games play out in different ways. Sometimes teams play only 3 lines. And then it's a judgment call of what you feel comfortable with on the offensive side of things, on the defensive side of things. I think what we've seen solidify in Dylan's game over time here is the ledger of chances at the end of the night is not skewed negatively in any way. I think I see some chemistry with Derek Ryan and himself. They've had some people work through that center ice position in the last 10 games. You've seen James there. You've seen Shore there. You've seen Ryan McLeod when he first got back playing there. I think it's important to use your eyes as a game plays out, be flexible, and never be prisoner to something that was decided beforehand.
And young player in his first year, does he go onto the ice and you look at it as a coach saying, he looks like he's just trying not to make a mistake, then he's trying to do something because he's an offensive player?
I don't look at it like that. No, I think he is someone who's trying to have an impact on the game and find different ways to do that. I've seen him, especially in the last while, have a defensive conscience about him where he's getting in shooting lanes, he's making good plays along the wall, he's getting involved physically by finishing a hit or, standing up for himself against Seattle. Someone gave him a cross check, he didn't like it and stood up for himself. There's different ways to impact the game. What I think he is working his way through is he's learning how good the league is, how the league almost has different benchmarks. The way the game is played through the first 10 games, the way the game is played at the 20-game mark, and now we're coming up at the halfway point of the season. So the pace gets better, the margin for error gets slimmer, and he's navigating his way through his first NHL season, and he's had some good moments and he's had some learning moments.
Thank you.
Good, thanks guys.